Another day of StarCraft action. We're coming at you with day 4 of the round of 8 of the ASL Season 12. I am, of course, American. Joined by Stan this time around. It's going to be a Terran versus Third. We call Rush versus Soma, but this time it's going to be Light versus Hero. So, Stan, what are your thoughts on this particular matchup?
Well, I'm excited to see Light playing against Hero once again because from the previous season, remember we had a death group, was in a group D, Rush, Royal, Light, and Hero was in it, and Hero was one of the Zerg players who actually survived in the round of 16 in that death group, and beating Light and beating Rush, I believe.
It was sorry. It was Royal that got eliminated too. Rush made it out.
Oh yes, so if I try to remember correctly, they end up playing each other, and of course Hero did survive from that group and beating Light. So I'm excited to see some revenge match from those this round of 8, Light versus Hero.
Yeah, as you mentioned, this is going to be a revenge match. Last season, I was kind of surprised to see Hero make it out because, as you stated, the death group Rush, Light, and Royal going up against Hero, who I don't really think of as being the strongest versus Terran. You know, he plays a bunch of different styles. He's even known for playing Hydra Lurker, and you know, that's kind of fallen off, but it's making a resurgence. The Hydra Lurker Defiler play, I mean, it's my favorite style, but it's hard to make work. And Light, being eliminated last season, you know, he's got something to prove here. And actually, Light's probably my favorite Terran after Flash. He's really, really strong. And lately, he's been killing it in Pro League. I've been watching him quite a lot.
Yeah, so I also have watched. Oh, I think we're moving into those opening highlight video scene.
스스로 이름을 붙이고 이재호 선수의 앞바닥 뚫어버는 성공했습니다. 이재호 선수가 이 경기에서 힘들지만 싸워 이겼다. 취재 두 번째 경기마저도 이재호 선수 승리 따냈습니다. 준우승 히어로 조일찬 성찬의 신 BDS 무탄의 신 조일찬 선수가 예측대로 8강 진출. 저그 유일한 저그거든요. 이 조일찬 선수와 이재호 선수의 대결이 기다리고 있는데
Okay, I guess we are going to be moving into this interview. And the ASL Season 12 is sponsored by the Ultra Gear and Hot6. This is going to be the last day of casting round of 8.
ASL 11번째 도전만에 유영진 선수가 박상현 선수를 넘어서
And from the previous match we have watched, Rush actually made it into semi-final. That was his first time making it into semi-final, and now he also became a seeded player for the next season. But before that, we also need to watch this match 4, Light versus Hero, who's going to be making it into semi-final. Hello everyone, Light and Hero, hello.
온라인에서 워낙 많은 경기를 펼쳤던 두 선수기 때문에 조일장 선수로 상대가 결정됐을 때의 심정도 좀 궁금했거든요.
So the caster is asking Light, how do you feel? Since you guys have been playing each other online spawn matches, so many games, about more than 100 games I believe. And from the previous month, last month they played each other for almost like 50-60 games, and that was about 50% win rate each other. And how do you feel that you're going to be playing each other against Hero for this match 4? So Hero was, Light was saying,
저는 부담이 됐다기보다 그냥 한번 만나보고 싶었어요.
오.
그냥 연습
So
때
they both
이제
kind of
많이
wanted to meet
해봤는데
each other. Hero's also saying the similar answers.
서로 이제 많이 게임 해보니까 이제
Since
느꼈던
they
걸
have
했었는데
played each other so many
대회에서
games from the previous month,
결과를 이제 한번 보고
they
싶어가지고
really want to see their true
오히려 이런
strength
팔강
in this
다전제
offline
대회에서
stage,
한번
in this
맞붙어보고
round of
싶었다라는
8.
조일장 선수의 대답까지
So
굉장히
instead of having this
인상적인데요. 또
pressure
이재호 선수에게 좀 질문을
or nervous,
드리겠습니다. 워낙
they really want to find
후보에
out
빠지지 않는 선수
who
중
is
한 명이
better.
이재호 선수잖아요. 하지만 최근의 대회 성적은 이재호 선수가 썩 만족스러우시진 못하셨을 것 같아요. 그래서 더 철저하게
So from the
오늘
online
경기를
performance,
준비해
a lot of
오시지 않았을까
people
생각이 드는데 준비 과정
agree
어떠셨나요?
or pretty admits that you're pretty strong
준비는 정말 철저하게
and absolutely
하겠고요.
beast on online,
오늘
but
빈틈없는
every time when you're
경기하기
playing an
위해서
offline
정말 노력을 많이
stage,
했기 때문에
you weren't
오늘 한 3대 0, 3대 1
showing some great results.
좀 압도적인 승리를
So,
준비해 왔다라고 이재호 선수가
Light
답변을
is saying
해주셨습니다.
he thinks he can
조일장
actually
선수, 조일장 선수 그동안
surpass his
이번
limit
8강 경기를 쭉 지켜보면
and break his
일단
limit.
김명훈,
If he wins his
변현재,
first game,
노영진,
either it is
조일장
going to be
선수
3-0 or 3-1.
올라섰습니다. 조일장 선수 이 명단을 봤을 때
So
나도
Hero,
빠지면 안 되겠는데라는 생각이
when you
좀
look at the
드셨을 것 같아요.
semi-final bracket, I'm pretty sure you kind of feel like you should be belonging in semi-final.
안 써가지고 뭐 그냥 제가 잘하면 올라갈 수 있지 않을까? 그냥 그
So
정도만
here is
생각하고
saying it really kind of depends
정도 올라갈
on his
가능성에 대해서
condition
자신이
and how well he's going to be
있으신지
played for tonight.
한 번씩 그런 생각을 해봤어요. 내가 질까?
So
질 수 있을까라는 생각을
Hero,
연습 과정에
how do you feel?
쑥스러웠다는
And
느낌을
how do you feel about
조일장
your confidence
선수에게
about
받을 수
today's
있는데요.
match? And
많은
Hero said,
분들이 두 선수의 경기를 기다리고
"Will I ever
있는
lose?"
중에
he
하나가
said.
두 선수가 워낙 온라인상에서
So he's
많은
pretty
경기를
much doubting
펼치지
about he's going to be
않을까
getting
싶습니다.
knocked out.
9월
He's
23일부터
absolutely
25일까지로만
showing his
찾아보더라도
confidence
두 선수가 41점을
in that interview.
22대 19로 약간 이재호 선수가 앞서는 정도인데요. 말씀하셨던
So,
것처럼 이미 서로에 대한 분석이 너무 완벽하게 끝나 있어서
The caster said something about the score between each other. 21 wins and 19 losses against Hero. So Light is slightly ahead
일단
with that
서로
score.
일단 너무 많이 알고 있는 것 같고요. 일단 근데
And how do you feel about
대회에서는
today's match?
다르기
And
때문에
Light is saying
제가 또 다른
on
모습을
offline stage,
준비를
offline
많이
tournament is
해왔거든요.
always different.
그래서 오늘 좀 많이 당황하실 거예요.
So no, even if they have played each other so many games, kind of knowing about the play style on offline stage or tournament, he said he's gonna be showing some different strategies than showing from the online performance.
또 다른 모습을 좀 보여주실 수 있을까요?
Do you think we can get to see some
저도
new tactics
연습을 많이 하면서 좀 빈틈없이
from you, Hero?
많이
And
노력을
Hero
해가지고
says Hero practice a lot
빨리 게임을 해보고 싶어요.
and he prepares a lot of strategies and he really wants to see how it's going to be worked out against Light. He really wants to move into the game and finish this interview ASAP.
두 선수의 각오를 들어보겠습니다. 이재호 선수.
Any last word
오늘
before we go into the game?
이겨가지고 4강 가겠습니다.
Light? And
네, 조일장 선수.
today I'm gonna try my best and win this
우리는
match
진짜 열심히
and
했으니까
get into
이런
semi-final
경기
bracket.
그렇게만 그 모습만 보여드릴 수 있었으면 좋겠네요.
So
네, 두 선수
Hero
멋진 경기
says
기대하겠습니다. 인터뷰 고맙습니다. 감사합니다.
he wants to
자, 이렇게
show
경기를
some
앞두고 있는 두
nice
선수와
games
함께 이야기 나눠봤습니다.
with
과연
what he has
마지막 남은
prepared
4강 자리를
for this
어떤 선수가
round of
차지할 수
8
있을지 이재호
and
선수와
go
조일장
into
선수의 8강
semi-final.
마지막 경기 지금부터
Thank you for the
함께
interview,
만나보시죠.
and we are gonna be moving into day 4 of this Light versus Hero momentarily.
Well, I wonder what Hero has planned because let's just say day 3, the Zerg builds were a bit off the wall to say the least. So, Hero has watched those games. I wonder if he's going to pull some bag of builds out. We're getting a look at some of the stats. So Light made it into the round of 8 in season 8, 9, and 12. Then Hero has made it into the round of 8 6 times. Season 1, 2, 4, 5, 11, and 12. And he's third most wins for Zerg with 50 wins overall.
Well, it's also kind of showing that for having a more than best of 3, like best of 3, best of 5 series match, Light did not lose any game so far in season 12. But when we look at Hero, he has lost that best of 3, best of 5 series 1-2. And here's some graph about both of the players. That Hero was doing his military service in season 5, 6, 7 maybe Season 8 including that. And that's the graph right now what we're seeing.
I'm a bit surprised to see this graph for Light at the bottom, because if you look at it, he doesn't make it past the round of 16 almost ever, right? Yeah, I mean, he's just bouncing between the round of 16 and round of 24. And when you think of Light, you think of somebody that can actually win the whole thing. So that's a bit shocking. And actually, Hero has done a lot better than I was anticipating. It seems like he almost always makes it at least to the round of 8.
Yeah, that seems about consistent from what Hero has been showing from the offline. And here's a point of the match. So they both actually achieved the second place from Season 9 and Season 4. So Season 9, Light got the second place, and Season 4, Hero got the second place. And who's gonna be one step ahead to get the championship title. And here's another, the third one line says, it's like a revival, like reviving Terran, I would say, because from the previous seasons, all the Terrans just got knocked out super easily. Is he gonna be another Terran who's gonna be surviving into semifinal? And well, whether he's gonna be making it into the final and also win this ASL championship title. And here's also the round of 8, match 4, best of 5 maps.
Yes, we've got a few different picks this time around compared to the Terran versus Zerg we saw just the other day. We've got Revolver, Ascension, Polypoid, Goodnight, and Lemon. If you guys have not seen the Terran versus Zerg from Sunday, highly recommend the Revolver game. That was a great game. So looking forward to seeing this Terran versus Zerg, especially since our first map is going to be Revolver. Now we're going to get a look at the statistics for our players. They're going to be pretty darn good for both of them because these are mega superstars. You can see that it's a basically 50% win rate across the board for Light. Surprisingly, versus Zerg is, kind of his weaker matchup. You see that his best matchup is versus Protoss.
That's something became so odd of looking at Light's statistic information. I was gonna say something, but I just totally forgot now. From what we just saw on Sunday, Soma versus Rush, like it was insanely great strategy what Soma has shown with the massive drone and making a bunch of sunkers and purely going for the ultraless build. I faced that before too. Like after that day, like I was playing against Shine, and Shine was actually doing that strategy on Revolver, and that was somewhat I guess everyone started to do, and I'm pretty sure Hero is also going to be using that strategy too.
I mean, it looked pretty good. I was just looking at it unfold. I think the Guardians were great. In the interview with Rush, I mean, he mentioned that he knew the +2 was going to be late because he morphed 10 Guardians. So I think, if Soma had have switched it up, don't build as many Guardians, I think he could have won that game. Because 4-gas Zerg at the 11-minute mark, I mean, that's insanity. So it wouldn't surprise me to see Hero pull it out again. However, as I mentioned, Hero is, I would say, one of the more off-the-wall Zergs in the sense that he doesn't necessarily always play Ling Muta. He will play the Hydra Lurker, which is what I like. He'll play up a whole bunch of stuff. So it looks like our players are ready, guys. Let's get into the final day of the round of 8. It's going to be Game 1 on Revolver between Light and Hero. Or I thought we were ready. Looks like it's going to be a couple more seconds now.
And here's also one of the things. Oh, I guess people are ready. Maybe I can talk more about this in the game.
Okay, our Terran player in the top right. It is none other than Light. And in the bottom left, consistently making it into the round of 8 and beyond, it is Hero. Now you're going to mention something about this matchup?
Oh, so here's the one thing that I would like to tell you guys. Every minute if you're mining your Vespene gas with 3 workers, you get about 300. You get about 300 Vespene gas every single minute. So, like you said, the 4 gases are every single minute they're gonna have 1200 Vespene gas, and that means pretty much Zerg can make 6 Ultras at a time. That's just crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot of ultras to make. And you know what, Scan? It seems like when I'm playing versus Zerg, those ultras build quite fast in comparison to something like BCs, which we actually see quite often these days. So I wonder if we will see Light pull it out. The game we just saw between Soma and Rush, there were no BCs at all. I was actually getting worried that Rush might get overrun by ultras because he built so many vessels. But his macro was out of this world. Now we actually have an interesting scout pattern from Hero. He's going diagonal to the bottom right. Ooh, that is a pull first from Hero.
Yeah, I guess this is a strategy that everyone started to do. Overpull into 3 hatchery most likely, I guess. So I guess what we're gonna be expected to see from Hero, most likely, we still need to look more a bit because whether this is gonna be 2 hatch Mura or 3 hatch. But whenever Zerg is going for the overpull, they're just kind of be aware of 8 racks, and the perfect counter against the 8 racks is going for the overpull, and your hatchery is not that delayed, and your Zergling is pretty darn fast here. And here is the overpull into a hatchery, an extractor as well.
Yeah, I am a little bit sad to see that extractor, but this is still going to be a fine opener. And the reason I'm sad is because actually Soma did basically the exact same thing. Opened pool first, got map control, then took a 3rd hatch at that other natural. So we're not going to see that this time around, but again, this is a pretty punishing build because if the SCV doesn't get in, you're left in the dark. Is it lurkers? Is it mutas? And this is the build that I have the most trouble with. So we'll see if the SCV can get any scouting intel. For now, the answer is no. First 6 links are across the map, and you can see Command Center wanted to go up, but now he's just going to build that bunker.
Well, Hero is letting Light to scout his main base, so that's gonna give Light some intel whether this is gonna be a 3 hatchery build or a 2 hatch Mura. So yeah, there's a scouting SCV finally goes inside of Hero's main base and gets to see there's a alert tech, and also there's a couple of Marine. That should be about 2 so far in the bunker.
Yep, just 2 in the bunker, and for now, this Ling pressure really hasn't accomplished much other than forcing out the bunker. Now that is a extremely fast gas, and that means that that is going to be an eBay follow-up. You can see that Light put that next to his main. Now what do you think about this? Because often we see players rush Academy instead of the eBay versus 2 hatch.
Well, I was kind of expected to see some Light gonna go for 1 racks Academy build into 2 barracks, like a little bit delayed 2 racks. But I guess he wanted to go for with the upgraded advantage with the super fast eBay, and the scouting intel still giving him some more of information here. Checking how fast or late the lair tech is. Still no far, no Hydra Den. He doesn't get to see the Spire tech, or maybe he will.
I think, yeah, his SCV died, but as you mentioned, there was no Hydra Den, so it'd be pretty weird to see it put down after the lair completes. You know, actually, I watched quite a few of Light's games, and I think this eBay is like a Light special because often I see him do it. And I don't really see a lot of other players do this when they know it's a 2 hatch opener like this with the 2-minute gas. And we'll see how he wants to play this. There goes the second racks. It's extremely late. Academy is, you know, a bit faster. So his unit count is going to be extremely small for a long time. And we do see that Hero is going to take the top left main.
Yeah, he will be taking another spawning location, just like the classic of ZVT, where you take another spawning location, and more likely the Hero will be going for the lurker switch later on. But still, we need to see how late or fast he's going to be swapping into the lurker tech here. The Spire is about to be done, but I saw he didn't leave any larva remaining. So it looks like he's not interested in making 6 Mira ASAP. But look at that, how much of a larvae he right now has.
So we'll see how many mutas he wants to build, what he wants to do exactly with this opener. You can see that Light looks like he wants to move out, but as we've already pointed out, I mean, this was 1 Rax for the first 4 minutes or so of the game. I mean, he has almost no units. SCV is going to get out and scout, but the Overlord saw it, so those Lings are just going to swoop in and take it down. And fortunately, Light was going the wrong direction anyway, so he wouldn't have seen anything. Now here come those mutas, and as you mentioned, it's only 4, which doesn't even one-shot an SCV or a Marine right now.
Yeah, I think this is gonna give some Light some advantage with having less missile trade than the normal mutalist timing, and he just kind of reduced the amount of missile trade, but I guess he wants to be secured from getting the harassment done. Looks like the 4 mutalist is trying to force Light to use some steam packs, so Light got baited into it because he doesn't know how many mutalists there are right now.
Well, this is a 4 Rax follow-up from Light, so this is going to be heavy Marine count. It's not going to be 5 Rax, but it's not going to be fast tech, which we see a lot of players like Royal like to go for. So he's going to get out on the map pretty soon. Remember, he rushed +1 weapon. Actually, +1 weapon is going to kick in like the next 10 seconds or so, but mutas are going to jump on those isolated turrets while they can. Also takes down an SCV. And he's going to swoop into the... No, I thought he was going to go into the main, but instead just going to pick off a couple Marines that are straggling behind.
Yeah, the earlier I saw the Thunder Vespin gas disappeared, I think that must be the factory just right now went up, and I would like to see the upgrades. There is a +1 attack for Light, and even with this +1 4X, his factory timing, it seems really fast, what I'm seeing in this game.
Yeah, 645, 650 factory. I mean, that's still pretty darn good. That's going to give you, what, I have to think, like 9-minute vessel production, something along those lines. So this is still going to be pretty darn fast. We can see that the 3rd hatch is up at top left. And speaking of Light specials, this is what we saw in the round of 16. Marines moving along the top side of the map. Hero knows about this and smartly put an Overlord in position there, so these 4 Marines should not do any damage, but he's not... What? He didn't see them.
I think he saw it, but he's just gonna go for the backstab here. He's just gonna be giving up that 11 o'clock expansion, maybe just making some Zergling from the 11 o'clock side and try to save the hatchery, but meanwhile, he just made a couple of Zerglings, that making 4 Zerglings, so it should be easy for Hero to defend. 11 o'clock, he's still mining the 3rd Vespin gas from the 11 o'clock side, and meanwhile with this counter attack with the +1 attack, 9 muta remaining, or there's a more mutalist at the main base, but I'm not sure whether this is more than enough to bust this sunken line. Drone drill trying to do some drone drill. Maybe he might be.
I think he just won it with this attack. All the mutas are out of position. There was not critical mass mutas to help defend the natural, but at the same time, I mean, he's harassing like a madman, but he just doesn't have anything that beats +1 Marines right now. Like, he can build Lings, but it's not going to be an overwhelming amount, and 2 more mutas fall, but, I mean, these mutas are dealing a lot of damage. Look at supplies, 40 to 52. If Hero can, for example, build Mutalists at top left and get them together, I think he could hold. Actually, there was a cancel on that starport because Light needs all the money he can get to pump out some units.
Yeah, this is one of the tactics that Queen usually shows. I don't know if you guys still remember the Queen games, Queen versus JYJ or maybe some other Terran. Like, he always give up his 3rd expansion. And this is what right now Hero is showing. Like, he can be just like Queen, pretending that he's giving up that 3rd expansion and just build mass sunken at the natural and go for the backstab here.
Yo, sorry to interrupt you, but where is his command center in his main?
Oh, it got
Did
burnt.
Die?
Yeah, I guess it got destroyed.
Oh my gosh. Like, this whole time, Hero has just literally sacked his 3rd base, sacked his main, sacked his natural, and completely focused on these mutas. And Light has almost nothing. Like, there's nothing in the bunker at the bottom. He's building a bunker on the ramp, but it's not even in the greatest position. And as I mentioned, there's no command center in the main.
Oh, this is just not looking great. I mean, Light is not getting any income because he lifted up his command center here. I'm not sure what exactly happened for Light. Maybe Light's Eminem was all out of place while he was getting harassed at the main base, but now this number of Mutalists is still low, but Hero has 3 hatcheries so far.
Yeah, 3 hatch, and he has enough units to deal. Actually, he's going to go for the killing blow. I'm surprised that he's going to go for it, but he's going to. That's 12 lings, 6 mutas maybe, and he just barely has enough, and he's going to take game 1 in a wild base trade scenario. Actually, at the end, you saw Light smile. He knows that that was just so razor thin that Hero ended up taking that game.
Yeah, I guess that was a super nice decision making for the killing move. Letting that 4 Marine goes to 11 o'clock and making a couple of Zerglings to defend that 4 Marine. It was without medic, so that was easy for Light Hero to hold. And while Light was moving out, he decided to go for the backstab and putting lots of mass sunken at the natural. So that was a great decision making.
Yeah, well, even though I think that was a bit ballsy move by Hero, I like that he was decisive about it. He went for the counterattack, and he continued to micro those Mutalisks forever. You could see that was his focus. He didn't worry about his main, he didn't worry about his natural. He's like, if I can just micro these mutas forever, I can win this game. He didn't hesitate. He didn't try and go back and say, oh no, I gotta go save my main. So great crisis control, great crisis management and decision making, as you mentioned. And now we're gonna be going into game 2, but first, oh nope, we gotta get into the highlights, right? I always get debated, but not this time, I think. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so I want to see what happened to this command center. You can see it's still there, and these mutas, damn, they just obliterated that group of bio.
Yeah, it looks like it was lacking with the missile turret at the main base. What was only 2 missile turret at the main, and that bust at the net. It did work out, but he was not able to defend this. The remaining leftover Mutalisk at the main base, which is way too much.
And as I mentioned, he canceled his starport because he had no money. I don't know what happened with this SCV pull, but this didn't help much either. In that command center, it did actually die. It wasn't like floating or anything. And you can see that the complete attention was on the mutas. Absolutely no response in the main. And now it's time for bingo.
안녕하세요. 이번에 그 8강 진출하게 된 이재호입니다. 일단은 영화 고를게요. 제가 감명 깊게 본 영화들이 좀 많긴 한데 포레스트 검프 맞는지 모르겠는데 명작이라고 추천을 해서 보게 됐었거든요. 되게 감동도 주고 여운도 주고 굉장히 기억에 남습니다. 공포 영화를 봤었거든요. 볼 게 없어서. 그때 제목이 유실물이었던 걸로 기억하는데 제가 극장에서 웬만한 거는 참고 다 봤는데 보다가 중간에 나올 정도로 굉장히 워스트 영화로 기억되고 있습니다. 이거는 제가 이제 빨간색을 좋아하다기보다는 워낙 많은 시청자분들께서 또 그렇게 기억해 주시고 해서 아이덴티티가 된 듯한 느낌? 이걸 봤을 때 누구를 기억할 수 있다는 건 굉장히 저는 좋은 점이라고 생각을 해서 만족하고 있습니다. 다음 거는
지금 ASL에 올라와 있는 테란 선수들 중에서 본인의 위치는 어디에 있다고 생각하시는지.
2등 정도는 되는 것 같아요. 원래 독보적인 테란 원탑 선수가 있었잖아요. 그 선수가 군대를 가고 나서 이제 많은 분들도 그렇게 말씀하시고 저도 속으로는 내가 1등이야 자만을 했었거든요. 그런 생각을 미리 가졌던 게 한 김명훈이랑 결승했던 그 시즌부터였는데 저는 이제 여기에 머물러 있으면 점점 이렇게 올라오는 게 느껴지는 거예요. 내가 이렇게 자만할 게 아니었구나. 더 열심히 노력을 해야겠구나. 그런 생각이 들어서 그렇게 말했던 것 같습니다. 2등이라고. 이걸로 갈게요. 우승 후보. 테란이란 종족이 우승을 하는 모습을 보고 싶다 하시는 분들이 많을 것 같다고 생각이 들어요. 8강, 4강 다 해가지고 더 잘해서 꼭 우승 후보가 아니고 우승자가 되도록 하겠습니다. 제가 몇 시즌 동안 16강 막 이렇게 떨어지면서 기대를 해주시는 분들 많았는데 성적을 못 내서 굉장히 좀 죄송스러웠거든요. 열심히 하겠습니다. 또 응원 많이 부탁드릴게요. 감사합니다.
안녕하세요. 조일장입니다. 이상하게 3, 4회전만 하면은 패패 승승승을 하더라고요. 지금 2번 했는데 2번 다 그래가지고 솔직히 2대0으로 지고 있을 때 멘탈 다 나가고 이제 그냥 인생 끝났다 이렇게 생각하고 있는데 또 그냥 한 경기 한 경기 잡다 보니까 이기게 되는 것 같아요. 좀 멘탈이 강한 건 아닌데 좀 잘 풀렸던 게 아닌가 그렇게 생각합니다. 믿기지 않겠지만 성공한 상태고요. 좀 더 성공을 해야 할 뿐이지 지금 조금씩 빠지고 있고 좀 이상해요. 제가 몸이 이제 살이 찌면은 이제 시청자분들은 갑자기 오 일장이 살 빠졌네 이러시고 뭔가 살 빼고 있으면은 갑자기 왜 이렇게 살찜? 약간 이러시더라고요. 그래가지고 뭔가 팬분들도 일부러 그러시는 건지 잘 모르겠는데 요즘에는 그냥 그러려니 이제 하면서 그냥 재밌게 시청자분들이랑 놀고 있어가지고 일단 먹는 거는 평소보다 조금 적게 먹고 운동을 조금 하고 제가 좀 혼자 살다 보니까 이제 먹는 게 좀 잘 관리가 안 되더라고요. 이제 배달을 많이 시켜 먹는 게 2인분씩 오고 그래가지고 샐러드는 안 시켜 먹습니다. 탄수화물과 지방을 좋아하기 때문에 그래서 안 빠지는 것 같아요. 현재가 이제 범수를 뽑는 거는 이제 머리에 아예 없었어요. 그날 가니까 갑자기 프로토스전을 하고 싶다면서 이제 범수를 뽑겠다더라고요. 아 진짜 왜 이러나 진짜 싶었는데 갑자기 마음을 바꿔가지고 이제 지나가는 길에 범수 뽑으세요 이러길래 뽑으라고 해놓고 데려갈까 싶어가지고 그냥 냅다 물었습니다. 사실 저는 그냥 바꾸면은 그냥 뭐 바뀐 사람이랑 하지 뭐 그런 생각이었는데 그래도 현재가 같은 팀 형이라고 이제 좀 예리를 보여줬네. 이번에 같이 2위로 올라가가지고 못 만나게 돼서 좀 아쉽고 4강이나 결승에서 만났으면 좋겠다. 재미있는 이제 영화나 드라마 같은 거 보는 거를 좋아하는데 초반 딱 봤는데 별 느낌 안 오면 안 보게 되더라고요. 재밌는 것 좀 많이 추천해 주셨으면 좋겠습니다.
상대는 조일장 선수입니다.
10년도 더 전에 뭔가 본 것 같긴 한데 잘 기억이 안 나가지고 그냥 그 노래가 너무 인상적이고 BGM이 좋아서 그냥 선택했습니다. 8강에 또 올라오게 됐는데 큰 감흥은 없고 만나고 싶긴 해요. 왜냐면 저는 잘하는 선수들이랑 하는 걸 좋아하기 때문에 매치를 시청자분들께서 잡아주셨는데 뭔가 조금씩 나아지고 있는데 계속 한 끗 차이로 막 지는 느낌이 들어가지고 그래가지고 그냥 계속 붙잡았죠. 마지막 판에 센터 BBS 치고 웃으면서 도망가길래
막판 뭐 센터 BBS를 했어 이 양반은.
다음에 한번 정의구현 한번 해야겠다.
자, 자동으로 이재호 선수의 상대는 저그 조일장 선수가 되겠습니다.
이번 시즌은 뭔가 우승하고 싶더라고요. 열심히 해보겠습니다.
Alright guys, we are back. And Scan, you mentioned earlier that actually Hero and Light have played like over 100 games this season, this year. So that's quite a lot of games. You know, we were talking about how Soma and Rush have a rivalry. I was unaware that Hero and Light potentially might have a rivalry.
Who and who has a rivalry?
Soma and Rush definitely have a rivalry. But
Yeah.
what about Hero and Light? They've played a lot this year too.
I'm not sure, but most likely just by looking at how well they've been playing each other on offline, and seems like both of their players are kind of winning and losing each other. So I guess that will work. So yeah, here I think they can be some rivalry between these two players, Light and Hero.
All right, well, game 2, it is going to be Ascension. Trying to think back to the last time I saw this Terran versus Zerg. Oh, looks like our players are ready, so we'll wait on that. But coming up next, guys, it is going to be Ascension. So let's get into round 2. Remember, Hero up 1-0 already off of a crazy counterattack. Okay, so in the bottom left, and I can't believe it, there's nobody at the top middle. It's Light in the bottom left, and in the bottom right, we have our Zerg player. It is Hero, and I can't remember if it was in the ASL or if it was a StarCastTV cast we did, but one of the latest games we saw in Ascension was we saw Soma go for Hydra Lurker drop. You remember that?
Oh yeah, the
Comboed with Mutas?
Yeah, the Muta with the 6 Lurker drop.
Yeah. You think that's a possibility to see here, or do the spawns just not support that in this particular game?
Well, just by looking at the spawning location, I think Hero is not able to go to the Lurker drop, but I think it's still glad to know that Hero is not at 12 o'clock side, because 12 o'clock side, there's just way too many mineral boosts for Zerg. And every single building, even though it's like 12 hatcheries, is like 5 seconds faster than the regular time.
Yeah, you've talked about how the 12 position is just completely busted for Zerg. Now we do see a wall coming out from Light. Not going to be an 8 racks, actually. You know, in the highlights we saw Hero getting 8 racks by Light. So this time around, the forward placement is just going to be for a safe opener. And we'll have to see what he wants to do with this, because unlike Rush, who you know 100% of the time is going to play some type of bio, Light does play everything. So this could be a wall off to go for tech. It could be a wall off to go for command center. It could be delayed tech like we saw the 15 gas into Valkyrie play.
Yeah, so Ascension, on Ascension, a lot of Terran players kinda go for either 1-1-1 or 8 racks into 1-1-1 follow-up, but I guess Light is not interested of going for 1-1-1 strategy. And here's something that I have to tell you. I played against Soma yesterday, best of 3, and I was using 8 racks build 1-1-1 strategy against Soma on Ascension. He literally defended this 8 racks with the 4 marine aggression with just pure 6 drone. So I guess the map like Ascension, where it has such a narrow entrance at the net from center to net, it's just way too narrow that Zerg can actually defend the 8 racks with only 6 drone.
Well, that is surprising, and I guess that's probably why we're not seeing an 8 racks here, and that's just going to be a typical opener from Light, safe opener. Command center coming down. Now, of course, I'm looking closely to see if gas goes down. It looks like it might, and there it is. Now, because of Hero's scout pattern, he is actually going to poke in with the Overlord maybe and see the gas, and this is a huge tell.
Yeah, that is definitely a huge intel, but I think type of player like Light, I don't think he is gonna be going for 1-1-1. I don't think he's interested of going for Valkyrie. I think he might be just gonna go for eBay somewhere, but I still know eBay.
Yeah, we'll see if it's eBay. I actually think it is going to be the Valkyrie opener, because this is the 250 gas, which is typical of the delayed gas into tech opener. But as you mentioned, Light does like to rush eBay, so it wouldn't surprise me, but I have a feeling this could be 1-1-1. And we do see that Hero, he knows that this is a gas opener, or a delayed gas opener in generally tech, so he puts down a 3rd hatch in his main.
So that inner 3 hatch is definitely great for Zerg. Not getting the metabolic boost, but rushing for the 3rd hatchery before the lair attack finishes. They have the more of a larvae advantage in the early stage of the game and pretty much pump a lot of drone. And finally, he's going to be affording to put a Spire attack at the main base. There should be the Spire. And yeah, the scouting SCV most likely is going to be seeing everything, and then Light also knows the metabolic boost is not going to be super fast because he also have seen the inner 3 hatchery.
Well, we saw Soma do, or not Soma, we saw Rush do something similar the other day. And he ended up going into Speed Vulture, into Valkyrie, try and buy time. And I was wondering if we were going to see something similar. Answer is going to be a no, because that is no add-on. It is just straight.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. We've got double armory. It's not going to be Valkyries.
So I guess both of us are wrong about this gameplay. We are going to be seeing some mech opening from Light.
Alright, now talk to me about this, because generally, or it used to be in the past, you know, when Flash came up with that 1-1 timing, it was off of just one armory, and that means that you were attacking in around 10 minutes or so. But with this double armory, once this armory's done, let's assume he gets +1 on both the armories. That means he's gonna have 1-1 at like 8:15 or so. Like, is that a timing? Like, is he gonna have enough Goliaths to try and overrun this army from from Hero, or is he just going to sit here?
Well, I'm pretty sure he's gonna be able to have a decent amount of Goliath for the timing attack. But with that super fast upgrade, he's not gonna have too many factories. We're gonna be seeing he's just gonna be relying on 2 factory Goliath production. But at the same time, you know, Hero probably gonna be most likely gonna get about the magic number, having 8 Mutalisk and start sniping some SCV everywhere. But that is definitely a lot of mistletoe right now Light is making.
Yep, a lot of turrets coming down, because when you play delayed mech like this, I mean, a lot of games, there's only like 2 Goliaths out, and you can see that 7 Mutas are already out, so you have to build a lot of turrets actually. Now, I have heard about this 1-1 play, but I actually have never seen it, so I'm curious how this is actually going to pan out. My initial thoughts are, I mean, 1-1 is strong, but is there a transition? Like, can you actually go +2? This feels like a lot of gas in the early stages, and it also forces you to get your nat gas pretty fast. Now we see Hero is going to take his 3rd base at top right, so he's already going to have 4 hatches up pretty soon.
Well, I think he will be having enough enough factory count to make some a lot of Goliath and go for the small pressure. But if he's not interested of going for the pressure, he will be getting the ion thruster, which is called vulture speed in other word, after the Charon booster finishes. But here's something that right now we are seeing from the minimap. Here's the Goliath moving out, so Light wants to move out.
Right, now remember, double armory started around 440. That means that this is going to be something like 815, 830, 1-1 timing. And I am not sure if Hero actually saw the double armory, because as I stated, generally Terran players, or in the past, used to move out with 1-1 at 10-15 or so. So he may be caught off guard at how fast Light is going to move out, and it is a 3 factory follow-up, so he's going to have a decent amount of units. And there's the answer to my question, is he going to go +2? The answer is yes, because that starport is already done.
Yeah, I guess Hero with that Zergling Scout, he thought those Goliath initial move was pretty much like a 1-1 or +1 timing attack, so he was using all the Vespene gas at that stage of the time. But now he's not using all of his Vespene gas, because he immediately realized this is not some sort of a Goliath timing attack. So he's just gonna be constantly saving up those Vespene gas, and probably gonna be using it for the later on. But here's the +1 attack just got completed for Light, but all the mistletoe will be taken down.
Yep, turrets are going to fall, but nothing key actually fell. And so Light's going to still be in an okay position, but you can see Hero's doing a good job. He's still pretty much even in supply. He's got his 4th base up and running. As you mentioned, we're looking for that speed, and it has kicked in, but Burrow already done. So Vultures are not going to get much damage done, just going to force a Burrow, and that's it.
Yeah, it looks like Hero was definitely aware of the mech play with the Vulture speed. So Hero is probably going to be knowing this is going to be 2-1 upgrade, but I'm pretty sure he's not noticing about this double armory build. But doesn't really matter. The key part of this mech build is getting the +2 attack ASAP with the mech upgrade. And right now, Hero does have a lot of Mutalisk, but I don't see any Hydralisk switch yet.
Yeah, I also don't see any Hydras, and I don't even know if we saw an evolution chamber. Oh, actually, that is a drop. I thought it was just Vulture. So Vulture drop, and this is great because he knows where all of the Mutas are. Now remember, they have Burrow, as you can see. I don't even know if he has Comsat. I actually don't think he does. Now, I love this move. Using mines to blow up larva, and now he gets into the natural, and he's going to pop a couple more drones. Fantastic.
Well, something that I noticed was Hero made an additional hatchery at the main base, so that was another macro hatch that he just afforded at the main base. And Hero is still just making completely all drone.
I'm very worried for Hero because, you know, Goliaths are really strong with the armor upgrade, and because he rushed both armor and weapon, and I didn't get a look at, oh my god, he's going to catch more drones. He's going to catch 3 drones, and he sees another hatchery going down.
Ooh.
So he knows that this guy's building so many macro hatches, and he actually hasn't built any units. What I was going to say was, Hero might not actually have +1 weapon on his Hydras when Terran attacks, because +2 is going to kick in about a minute or so, and I think he's just going to go for an attack. Well, maybe he's not, because actually that's a command center.
Well, yeah, he's just gonna be sit there with a 3 base here and just gonna be constantly rotating some vultures. And he also knows there's no Hydralisk R out on the map, and if there's no Hydralisk R out on the map, Light definitely does not need to make any siege tank. He can just go for pure Goliath with maybe 1 or 2 Science Vessel, and he does have 2 Science Vessel. 1 nice Irradiate. That's a nice pull.
Yeah, that was a really good split, taking minimal amounts of damage. But that does give Light the 3rd base, but Hero's already taking a 4th base, and he has a lot of hatches. This is like his 7th or 8th hatch. You can see supply is still really, really high. +2 has not kicked in just yet, but it is going to kick in very shortly from now. So it is going to be a big power spike from Light. And as I mentioned, look at that. Hydras are at 0 upgrades. If Light had have not expanded, I think he would have had a really sick timing. But as played, this is a fine follow-up also.
Wow, so I just noticed Light just got he just started making the academy. Yeah, that's a 2-2 upgrade. So Light doesn't have any intel, but he's perfectly aware of the Hydralisk switch by now, and he's making those triple add-on with those factory. So he's just gonna be having a lot of massive siege tank momentarily. Okay, that's a lot of mutas, but gotta be careful from those Goliath.
Yeah, but he's just using the Mutalisk to confirm where the Goliaths are. And, okay, Light should know something's up, because why are there Hydras all the way over here? Meanwhile, there's a drop in the main of Hero at the same time. So we're going to get into another wild situation, because I think Hero's about to drop into Light's main. And his units are still way out of position. You can see that Overlords are loading up. Drones are falling left and right in the main, though.
Ooh.
Here we go.
So that is a massive Overlord drop, Hydralisk drop, but I mean the 2-2 upgrade is already in the mass Mutalisks are pretty much doing some damage. Okay, that's a nice Irradiate.
Yeah, good Irradiate, and as you mentioned, +2 has kicked in, which is the big power spike for Terran, not just in Terran versus Protoss, but also Terran versus Zerg. And just look at the tanks when they have 2 armor. They just don't die. 1 tank died. That was it. Meanwhile, the Vultures are still alive. Look at supply now scan, 135 to 70.
Yeah, that was about like 50-ish of a 50-ish of a Hero's army just got thrown into those massive missile turret. And what did he just earn? Like killing a couple of missile turret? That's all he did. Like, I mean, Light was just set there.
Yeah, and when you take a trade like that, I mean, it doesn't matter whether you were camping or not. It's go time, and he's gonna have a big advantage if he was to attack right now. He has so many tanks because he's got the triple add-on. He's got the +2 power spike. He even scans and sees that it's a drone cycle. So this guy lost his whole army, then powered behind it. I think this is the time to go, but you do know Light was going for +3, so he may be content just sitting there and waiting for it. Another Vulture into the 3rd base, going to rack up a couple more drone kills. Look at the main, not even minding gas, and I just realized he's stuck on lair tech.
Yeah, that's a Queen's Nest right now. We're seeing whenever you're playing against mech, you definitely need to have like one group. The minimum is like 1 group, and you gotta have maximum like 2 groups of queens, so you can pretty much constantly using those Brilling to snipe those siege tank. But now he's building the Queen's Nest. That's just completely late. He just got +1 attack upgrade against these 2-2 upgrade, who is gonna be having 3-3 upgrade in maybe next 1 minute or so.
Yep, 11:20 or so +2 timing means we're setting up for a 15-minute +3 timing if Light instantly upgraded it. And you can see that he's just doing what he needs to do. He's taking his 4th base, securing it, getting his 4th gas up and running, and maxing out and waiting for those upgrades to kick in. And meanwhile, Hero's not going to be dropping again, because that is a million turrets. And now, I don't really know what Hero can do, because his army comp is pure Hydras, and, well, obviously tanks just obliterate that.
Yeah, looks like Light is just going to be sitting there with 4 base, constantly doing the macro. I wonder how many factories right now he has, but... Well, okay, finally we can get to see queens, but 7 queens, that's not even enough to snipe all those siege tank.
+3, we may see it kick in just a couple seconds. And he is moving out. He's near max, which means that, oh, there it is. Yeah, so 15, 25, +3 timing. Crazy. And you can see that the queens don't have the 150 energy. They need about 70 more, which means he's going to be sitting there not being able to use them for almost 100 seconds. And here comes Light, and there's just nothing really for Hero.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Light is just pretty much using those vultures, and yeah, he should be rotating some vultures momentarily, but I guess he's just gonna be sending all of his army with A move, 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, and just about to crush Hero's army, who has 0 armor upgrade.
Yeah, he has no armor upgrades. I don't even know if he has +2 weapon. He doesn't even need tanks, honestly. I think if you were to just get rid of all the tanks, I think he would still win. He has that many Goliaths and that strong of upgrades. Also, he has the vessels. Here comes, oh, D-Matrix. Well, okay.
Ooh.
Those units are quadruple D-Matrix. You're not going to kill any of those.
Yeah, that was absolutely crazy of mech army right now we're seeing from Light. And he's
Well,
just going to be
Queens-
moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, how do you stop this? Well, one answer is Queens, and he has them, but he needs like 20 or 30 more seconds, and he doesn't have time for that. He needs to stop this now. Third base is 100% dead. If he loses the fourth base, there's macro hatches there too. This game is done if that base goes down. I mean, I think it's done already. It's just way too much Terran.
Wow. I mean, this mech army is just looking scary.
Yeah, I mean, this Hydra counterattack, I think those 5 units could possibly have beaten those Hydras, and there was like 10 or 12 Hydras, simply because the Hydras don't do any damage. This is +3 Terran already.
Yeah, those queens are finally came to use some brawling. That's a nice brawling, but still, that's not enough. I mean, there are still like one group of Siege tank still remaining. Constantly focus targeting on breaking all those buildings at the natural that's a double evolution chamber is about to go down, so that's even more bad news.
Yep, and there is the GG Hero types out. Unfortunately for him, the upgrade is a little bit too strong. The Vulture harassment did a little bit too much damage, and his counter drop this time around, the counterattack, did not do the damage he was looking for, and Light easily takes that game.
Yeah, so both of the players has lost their game. Right, Revolver was chosen by Light, but Light lost, and Ascension was chosen by Hero, and Hero lost. So I guess that was an even trade from these best of 5 series, losing on the map that was chosen by each other. So I guess it's gonna be most likely just like best of 3 match from now on. Tied up 1-1.
Yep, it is going to reset down to a best of 3, as you mentioned, and I'm happy for this because that means we're going to get into 2 of our exciting maps potentially. Lemon, I think, is the last one of the day.
Oh yes.
Next map is going to be yeah. What were you going to say about Lemon?
Oh, I mean, oh yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, I think we're going to go into the highlight, I think. But yeah, we can see that Polypoid is coming up next, so it's going to be a big macro map. And we know that Hero has some of the best macro once he actually gets his bases going. I mean, you could see he was about to get them going because he had so many drones, but the Vulture harassment was just insane. And we're going to get a look at the drop.
Yeah, this game just kind of looked like Terran vs. Protoss, where you just use a 10-minute Vulture drop and just constantly sitting waiting for 2-1 upgrade. Does this just like Terran vs. Protoss matchup? Like you build massive turret just like how you're defending against the recall drop, and that's the Irready, just like EMP on Arbiter.
Yeah, and look how many units the Hydra kill in the Mutas.
Oh,
man,
it's
that was
just
a
move.
move command. Okay, well that makes sense. That's why he killed 1 tank. That was it. Just ridiculous. I will have to try out that build because watching or thinking about it before it unfolded, I thought, well, I don't know if the 1-1 timing you'll have enough units. And then when I was thinking about, okay, 2-2, I know 2-2 is a huge power spike for Terran, but I was thinking, well, I mean, queens don't care about armor, right? If they get broodlings, it still blows up. So I was kind of skeptical, but it worked out really well versus what Hero was doing.
Yeah, I'm not sure what exactly Hero's plan was. That two groups of Muta with massive amounts of Hydralisk drop just didn't work. Like, literally didn't work. And Light was completely prepared against some sort of a drop play by Hero. And everything, he was a step ahead of Hero.
Well, if you were Hero and were to replay that game, what would you have changed? Would you just not gone drop? Would you have gone Hive faster? What do you think he should have done?
Well, if I were Zerg, I wouldn't go for drop, because the moment when you start seeing Terran players start rotating the massive vulture and constantly picking up drones here and there, and also using the dropship, that's like the moment where you should be realizing Terran is just gonna be sitting with the 3 base and constantly waiting for 2-1 upgrade or 2-2 upgrade, just like what we just have seen from Light. So in that kind of game scenario, like, Hero really needed to get those queen immediately, ASAP.
Yeah, I agree, because as you mentioned, when you see the drop, you know they're just sitting there, which means they're not intending to attack you. So you could build fast queens, build up that energy, so when they do move out, you can instantly pick off the tanks. So I think if they were to play again, Hero would go for that. As you mentioned, the drop was just not what he needed to do. I mean, it might have been because of spawns, potentially. It might have been he took too long to get over there. But yeah, backfired this time around. Now, Polypoid.
Yeah, we have seen a lot of Polypoid game. I'm pretty sure Terran is slightly ahead because of the natural gas is somewhat exposed. The battle cruisers just pretty much constantly snipe those natural gas as much as they can. But I think we're going to be waiting to commercial break. We'll be coming back soon.
Right, we are back. I know that sound.
ASL
It's
시즌
time for
12
the
마지막
ASL event.
경기 함께하고 계십니다. 두 선수의 현재 세트 스코어는 1대1인데요.
Yeah, the ASL Season12 Ro.8 Match for the score is tied up to 1-1.
이두 번째 세트 어센션에서는 이재호 선수가
From the first game, it was chosen by Light on Revolver. Hero went for the mass Muta counterattack, and he seemed like he was giving up the third expansion, but he just defended that 4-marine rotation from the top side, defended with a couple of Zerglings was made at 11 o'clock, and the mass sunken at the natural was also a great move. And on Ascension, Light showed us great defense with master at main base and just wait for those 2-2 upgrade. That was insane too. Looking at this ASL Season 12 event and also the shop that they're selling, the ASL Season 12 jersey shirt. Look up on there. This is insane best of 5 right now we're watching from Life vs Hero. We'll be moving into game 3 momentarily. It is going to be played on Polypoid.
Yep, Polypoid coming at us. Both players at 1-1 scores. We just saw Light take an... I mean, it looked easy. Like, it just... It's one of those games where you watch it as a spectator and Zerg looked helpless. Like, Terran was not under threat at any point other than the drop, which did not work out at all. So now we're going to be going into Polypoid, and this map, of course, everybody knows, huge macro map. And I feel like this is the type of map that really fits Hero's style because he is a big-time macro player. So let's see if he can bring it back and get a victory on Polypoid, or if Light can continue his streak and put a second win onto the board.
Yeah, looks like players are trying to get ready for game number 3. We have seen a lot of games on Polypoid, and I'm pretty sure Terran is slightly ahead.
Not too sure. I'd have to look at those stats, but we're getting into the game now, guys. Game 3. So in the bottom right, in the spawn that I love, it is Light. And in the top left, we do have our Zerg player. It is Hero. And as I've mentioned multiple times, bottom right is one of the positions that you can wall. And it is a great, great position to go for an 8 racks and then float it back to your base. So I think we may actually see an 8 racks this particular game.
Ooh, the ASL map data that Terran has been winning 7-5 against Zerg on Polypoid. So from the status information, Terran is slightly favored. But if I try to remember correctly, I'm pretty sure Light got busted with the counter attack with lurkers, I believe, and he was located at the 11 o'clock that time. But this time, Light spawned at the 5 o'clock side. As you mentioned, he can wall off.
Now that depot, you know, as a Terran player, looking to optimize as much as I can. Depot was a little late, honestly. He sent it about 5 seconds late, in fact. So he is going to be supply blocked for quite a long time. Now we'll see if this was intentional. Like, are we going to see something maybe really weird, like 10-10-10? I mean, I don't think so, but yeah, that is just something to note here. And there is that rack, so he is setting up for the wall. So just like last game, he's going to have a wall, and unfortunately, Hero is not going to be able to see this, so he's going to be in the dark for a long time. And this time around, Hero has opted for the 12 hatch.
Yeah, 12 hatchery into... Oh, look at Hero supply count just went up. So I think this is most likely going to be a 12-12-12. It's a 12 hatchery, so if you're making a building, Zerg always loses a drone, compensating it, making a drone again. And then also going to be building spawning pool at 12. And once again, we'll be making another drone momentarily. So Hero, yes, there's another drone he will be making. So this is going to be triple 12 that right now a lot of Zerg players kind of does nowadays.
Yeah, and Hero in particular loves to do this because we saw this in previous rounds where it was him getting away with not just 1 additional drone, but now 2 additional drones. And that's why I thought we may actually see Light go for an 8 racks, especially since he got this position and because he's also versus this particular player, but ended up not going for that. And this time around, there's the command center. I was going to say he's not going for gas, but we haven't approached that 250 mark yet. We'll see if he wants to go for gas again, because he wasn't building an additional marine at that racks. Nope, he did put down gas. So again, this is going to be another tech opener.
Oh. Well, I am quite not sure what Light is actually planned with this game number 3, but there's a potential chance that he might gonna go for mech once again. But I think we still need to look a bit more whether he's going to be putting down eBay, which is a single marine, but okay, I think that's a single SCB was standing at the top of the refinery, but never mind, just got into the refinery.
Yeah, I also saw that SCB and thought it might be an eBay, but it's going to be tech again, so we're going to have another tech opener. I also think that it's going to be mech. I don't think it's going to be 111, but it could be. Definitely could be. And that is another inner hatch in the main. And SCB is not going to get picked off, so it is going to see that.
Yeah, another factory play by Light. And I think as soon as Light figured out Hero was doing 12-12-12, like just by looking at how fast the lair attack or slow the lair attack is, he should be able to realize. And he also have seen that inner 3 hatchery earlier, so he's also getting all this intel. And I like how he's playing differently here. He was moving out with the 4 marines and try to snipe if there's any zerging out on the map.
Yeah, he's also potentially looking for an overlord. We can see that Hero is starting to move his overlord now, and that is whoa, okay. Actually, I was not expecting to see an academy. So he might be thinking that, well, actually, I don't know. Is he? This is weird. Like, what's the academy for? I thought that maybe it was going to be for fast comstat because he didn't know if it was going to be Hydras or Mutas, but it's just going to be...
No, this is optimization of going for 3 racks into a Valkyrie opening. So right now he's getting the academies for all those steam pack upgrade on time. You know how those 3 depot academy build is that timer about like 4-minute mark, somewhere around there, and Light is getting that academy up at 4-minute mark, so he can pretty much set up that academy timing just like the regular 3 depot academy build. And we have to know that he's gonna definitely have less barracks count, so he should be momentarily working on adding more barracks. There it is.
Yep, there are the barracks, and Academy was quite fast, so he's going to have the upgrades. He's going to have the Valkyrie, as you mentioned, but he's cutting a lot for this, isn't he? Like SCVs, I mean. He's going to be moving out on the map when? Like 7 minutes or so with just 1 single Valkyrie, or is he going to wait for more?
Well, yeah, with that first scanner, he does get to see how many drones at the net. There were 8 drones mining at the mineral, so he should be realizing Hero was not even planning to make a lot of zerglings. But interestingly, Hero decided to take the 9 o'clock expansion instead of 12 o'clock.
Yeah, and I don't know what to think about this, because every time I see a Zerg take a middle base like this, the first thing that comes to mind is, how do we get our 4th gas? Because that 3rd hatch doesn't help you at all, or that 3rd base doesn't help you get that 4th gas. Now, here come those Mutalisks, but Valkyrie is going to be shown in the turret. Didn't even die. So that is unfortunate for Hero, but at least he gets to see that this is Valkyrie.
Well, I don't see the eBay blinking, but we see Light is working on making more of a Valkyrie count. But at the same time, Hero immediately changing to add a Hydra Dam plus the Evolution Chamber. So I think Hero is planning to switch over to Lurkers immediately before M&M starts to become large and large. Here's the 8 Mutalisk sniping 1 single Marine. That's nice, but gotta be careful from the right side. There's a 2 Valkyries.
Yep, and this is the 7-minute move out that I was talking about. I mean, Flash used to use this build quite often, and it is insanely powerful, because if you look at what Zerg actually has, I mean, it's 8 Mutas and Scourge. That's it. Nothing. So if the Valkyries survive, of course, then Terran can easily bust the 3rd base, and you can see he knows that all the Mutas are out of position, so he's going to send those Marines across the map.
Well, just by looking at how much of Valkyries right now he's getting, and eBay is not blinking, I have a feeling after this 3-1-1 with this bio, okay, gotta be careful here.
Oh, that was the engagement that Hero wanted, with all the Valkyries out of position, and he ends up catching a Valkyrie. He ends up killing the majority of the bio ball, but a round of Marines are going to sync up with the medics that seem to have not fallen. And Light is going to still continue to move across the map, I think. He's continuing to build Valkyries, and those things are quite expensive. And as you mentioned, that eBay is still not blinking.
Yeah, the eBay is still not blinking, so I have a feeling this is most likely gonna be a mech switch opening by Light. But still, Light is not adding. Okay, okay, from the minimap I can see he just added the machine shop, so he should be switching for the mass speed vulture momentarily. But the earlier battle in the middle, those 3 Valkyries were out of position, and now this will give some hero some time to get some lurker out on the map, and that's a lot of Zerglings he just afforded.
Yeah, he wants to go for another backstab. The Rax at the natural is actually out of position of the wall, so he could actually get into the main, but instead looks like it's just going to be mutas that are going to branch off. The Lings went back. Okay,
Ooh.
Lurker's just barely in time. I was wondering if he had anything to defend other than Lings, and the answer is just in the nick of time. He's got some Lurkers, and that means that this base is going to survive. But look at mid left. I mean, there's 0 defense there, and again, Hero's just going to pounce on the main.
Okay, so these number of middles will be sniping some SCVs, but I guess Hero won't be taking too much risk. But when we are looking at how much of a drones right now Hero has at the 9 o'clock base, he's just mining gas. So that's all he kind of needs. He kind of needs those heavy gas, but those Valkyries were not paying attention.
Yeah, this happens to me quite often, is my Valkyries just always get caught by the Scourge and Mutas. And now he's down to 1 Valkyrie, and I think that starport was blinking again, so he'll have built something like 5 Valkyries. I mean, that is so expensive, and he did not get the trades he wanted. As you mentioned, this is going to be a mech switch because no upgrades coming in, and vultures have now started to get out onto the map.
Okay, now yeah, Hero was constantly using his scanners to find out Hero's third expansion at 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and 7 o'clock. He checked all the locations except 9 o'clock, but he finally realized there was an expansion at the 9 o'clock site. So he should be feeling okay in this kind of game scenario, because whenever Zerg has not taken another spawning location, they always kind of struggle to take the 4th gas. But now the counter attack didn't work too well, but the number of emitters is still low.
Yeah, not a lot of Mutalisks left over, but still enough to knock down some of these Marines and Vultures. And that's another isolated group of units that Hero takes advantage of. And those are, I think those are hold position lurkers maybe. Okay, he did unburrow, and I think he saw them. But look at the lack of units that Light actually has. Oh, the lurkers are a little overextended here. Let's see if he can get the connections he needs. The Vultures are doing a good job to draw fire. That's a great irradiate, but an equally good split. And look at this.
Oh, that +1 armor is actually paying him off really well. And now that wasn't one nice irradiate, but the bio ball. I mean, what happened to all those Valkyries? He had a lot of Valkyries. He was making so much of Valkyries, but I don't see any now.
Yeah, they all got picked off by the Mutas and Scourge. They were isolated, and Hero is just continuing to build units. He's going to flood this third base. He knows it's a mix switch now, and he knows that you just don't have a lot of production. This might be game over.
I have a feeling that third command center was too fast.
Wow. Yeah, I think for how the game flowed, it was definitely too fast. A lot of times when you mech switch, you don't trade your units. You kind of just sit there. I mean, you get out into the map, but you make sure to not lose them, because if you do, then that happens. If Zerg is aware that you're mech switching, they know that you don't have a lot of production. And then to combo that with a command center that's way out of position, that was a big mistake from Light. And now Hero is 1 game away from moving into the next round.
Yeah, I feel like Light wasn't really paying attention with his Valkyries too well. He just constantly using those expensive Valkyries. He made about like 5 to 6 Valkyries, but it didn't really do anything. He just constantly using those Valkyries for free, and Heroes pretty much equally trade using some Scourges and also Muta killing some Valkyries here and there.
Yeah, he did a really good job with the Mutalisks, and something I noticed on the Mutalisks was they had +1 weapon. So when you build Valkyries and see a a Zerg doesn't have +1 armor and you build like 4 or 5 Valkyries, I mean, that's the dream scenario because you're just going to murder them. So the fact that Hero was able to pick off those Scourge and not lose his Mutalisk, that was a fantastic job from him. And he's playing exceptionally well in our best of 5 today. He's definitely come to play. And what is our... Is it Lemon the 4th map or is it Good Night? I think it's Good Night.
Yeah,
There it
that's
is,
good night. I hope he doesn't get 11 o'clock.
Yeah. So we're going to get a look at the... Oh, look at that. +1 armor is started before Terran. Well, we of course know Terran never started +1, but I mean, this +1 armor was surprisingly quick, 730 +1. And there's the answer to where did the Valkyries go? Well, one of them went down right there. Oh, going into a break. Right, we are back, guys, and we are potentially going into the last game of the night. Hero 1 game away from moving on into the round of 4, and he's done a really good job with his backstabs first in game 1, the counterattack to win the game, and now non-stop picking off of straggler Marines, straggler Valkyries. Just really well done with his Mutas and Lings, and he's so close to moving into the round of 4.
Yeah, those I mean, Hero was just constantly playing aggressive and he was just on his pace, but I feel like Light, his unit movement or his units were not synced up so well, and constantly using M&M or even Valkyrie like here and there. Like, I mean, those minor mistakes just kind of like sum up to a loss in the late game here, I think. So Light needs to reorganize of his thought and what he should be actually doing in game number 4 here.
Yeah, we were talking about how last game the control on the Valkyries were not the greatest, and then a big overextension, really building that command center without any map control. So he needs to get it together because this is make or break for him. He loses here, he's done. We're going to be going into Good Night. It's game 4. Hero 1 game away. Alright guys, our Terran player on his last legs. He needs your support. It is Light, and then in the bottom left, playing super well today, Stone Cold Killer. It is Hero. Now this time around, just something to note, Hero scouts the correct direction. So you can see that there's a bunch of mind games going on. You can't necessarily know where he's going to scout every single game. This time around, he's not going to find Light in the first position. Now, I know you love Light Spawn. Tell me why you love Light Spawn so much.
Well, the natural gas, the natural 11 o'clock natural, the mineral is kind of like exposed, and the minerals will be constantly sniping up your the mineral line, the worker line all the time. And here's also another thing that you gotta be knowing: the combat station add-on is always attached to the right side, and for some reason, whenever you start building those combat station and missile turret at the mineral line, all of a sudden your workers start mining backward, and some of the SCVs just literally constantly going behind the mineral line. And Hero, of course, he's just going to be constantly sniping those free SCV.
Yeah, this might be one of those maps where I think it could be edited at some point. You know how Polypoid top left has the minerals at the top side of the map as opposed to the right side that we're seeing here on Good Night, and then the gas is on the right side. I mean, there would still be the issue that mutas are still going to be hard to deal with, but at least your SCVs don't pop out and mine on the back side. Now again, we have another wall. This time around, this is a bit of a dangerous wall, because if you're playing Shine or something and he goes for a 5 pool, 4 pool, 7 pool, you're just instantly dead because your Marines pop out on the wrong side of the map, wrong side of the racks. But not going to get punished this time around.
Well, interestingly, so far, Hero, I guess once again he's doing the 12-12-12. That must be the extractor. Yeah, that is an extractor, and finally Hero is building. So he's just gonna be doing same strategy once again. And now Hero will be immediately realizing Light is at 11 o'clock side, so he should be turning around all of his overlord placement, overlord scouting. And now that SCV is turning down to 20 HP, so that's a dangerous move.
Yep, drone is not going to get it though. But remember, Light is in the dark. I mean, if this was a Ling attack, Lings would be getting to his base about now. And that would be a dead Marine and dead SCV. And potentially, game could have just ended because actually that Marine was out of position for a long time. But he is going to not be punished. Ooh. And we do see, again, command center and gas.
Yeah, so that command center was somewhat delayed. The command center started with almost when Light had 500 minerals, so that command center and the refinery pretty much went up at the same time. But it doesn't really matter too much. But we still need to look at what the strategy is from Light. Whether he's gonna be going for super fast eBay or is he gonna be going for factory again?
It's factory again, and I think this is going to be a mech game actually. The Rax is not in the most ideal position to build bio. If we think about how the games have unfolded today, both bio games Light ended up losing, whereas the single mech game he ended up dominating. So I think we may actually see another mech game.
Oh.
First few Marines are moving out. Just going to be backing off for now.
Well, there's a single Zergling attacking the barracks, so that is pretty much giving some Light information. Wow, okay, that Zergling actually survived, so that's a great move by Hero, because those Zerglings pretty important key of scouting. Like, gotta be constantly checking whether Light is moving out with 4 Marine, or just be constantly making Marine from that single barracks, or is the barracks blinking or whatnot. But she should be constantly checking. Okay, that's about 4 Zerglings he just made, so now he will be checking.
Well, Light is continuing to build Marines, so everything for now points to potential 1-1-1 play. Factory is done, that is an add-on. So we're going to have some Vultures moving out, and there is the Starport and the Armory.
Ooh, he just canceled something at the main base.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. Maybe it was an extra depot by accident, but he's replaced it with an eBay. Now, what's different compared to last game is the Academy. I didn't see it anywhere.
Well, we still need to look at this game a little bit more. Whether he's going to be doing the Valkyrie into mech play or some sort of a weird play style. But I still don't see Academy. It kind of reminds me of Shiny, the Terran player. The Shiny really loves to go for barracks expand into the Valkyrie opening without Academy, and that build Shiny usually does. It's kind of like weak against the Lurker playstyle.
Yep.
But also I know that they're kind of really close friends to each other and they know each other for so long. So maybe Shiny somewhat gave him some advice with the Valkyrie opening. So maybe that could be the reason Light is doing. So whenever he's doing this Valkyrie opening without the Academy, if he's ever planning to go for, oh, it's not a bio, okay, this is a Valkyrie into Goliath build.
Yep, Valkyrie Goliath, and as I mentioned before, Valkyrie's insanely expensive. So I'm curious how this is going to play out. Second cast is not extremely fast for Light either, and there's the reason that we love top left so much. See ya, STV. 2 of them gone in an instant. 3 gone, 4 gone, 5 gone, 6 gone. And this is just what you can do as Zerg. Look at that. There's no reaction from Light because, I mean, even if he sends the Goliath, he's got to wait for that upgrade to kick in before they can actually fire. So just free damage pretty much for Hero right now. Oh, is this Mutaman? That's 4 more Mutalisks that got built.
That could be. So far, Light hasn't shown anything besides just a single Vulture, and those 4 Marines are also inside of the bunker. So, by the meantime, Hero should be realizing this cannot be the bio play. So, it's kind of understandable for Hero that he's constantly making the Mutalisks. But, what is that follow-up? Okay, that's a massive Zergling right now he's making. So, that is going to be most likely a bust at the net momentarily.
Oh!
Wait.
I think he's just going to kill him. He's just going to focus the Rax. He has full surface area and combo it with the Mutas. Okay, no, he's not. I guess there's a little bit too much DPS in the bunker and the Goliath. He doesn't want to risk it, especially comboed with Valkyries in the air.
Maybe he was thinking of the Valkyrie opening and try to eat up whenever. Like, remember from the last game, here a Light was moving out at 7-minute mark with the bio with 2 Valkyries. And that's the right now the time is, and Hero is just waiting for those Marine and Goliaths to be out of position. Okay.
Like that?
Yeah, like that. That's what he was waiting for.
This game might be over because that's 3 Goliaths gone, 4 Marines gone, and remember, he can't build out of his racks. So look at this. Ling's just focused down the racks. And Light has 1 unit for defense. It's the Goliath, but unfortunately he's got 0 units now, and this was not what Light was anticipating. You can see the reaction there. He's not liking this, and he is going to be eliminated unless some miracle happens.
Well, I feel like today's game of Light, it just kind of looked like a low tier Terran player, but still no doubt Light was playing so well from this best of 5 series. Unfortunately, his strategy and what he has prepared didn't work out so well, and Hero is gonna be advancing into semi-final once again, just like last season.
Yeah, nicely done by Hero. He deserves it today. His backstabs were immaculate. The only game that didn't go his way was, of course, Ascension. But I think if he was to replay that game, not go for drops, he would have been in a good situation going into the mid-game. And unfortunately for Light, actually I feel like this is kind of similar to what we saw in the round of 24 between Noob and Sharp, where it was just anytime Sharp was barely out of position, Noob capitalized, and that's exactly what we saw Hero did. At the end, why are those Goliaths and Marines out on the map? I mean, they don't really do much damage, so what was he looking to do? And Hero saw that, kills it instantly. Polypoid, he finds Marines straggling behind, he finds Valkyries straggling behind, takes advantage of that. Just perfect play from Hero, and capitalizes on anything that, any small advantage that he can get. Yeah, like, what is this? What is he looking to do with 3 Goliaths?
Hunting for an overlord just like last game. Yeah, I mean, hunting for an overlord definitely good for making opponent getting supply block, but you'll never know when you know, like Zerg can just make so many units with those larvae advantage. Like this inner 3 hatchery, this is the strongest part. Like, they have the larva advantage, and they can just macro and also go for heavy all-in style. Like well, this is not a all-in, but he does have the third gas, but that's definitely a lot of army.
Here we go into our interview with our semi-finalists. It's Hero. Let's see what he has to say about how those games went.
ASL Season12 마지막 4강 진출.
So that was the last best of 5
선수였는데요. 저거 조일장 선수
in round of 8
축하드립니다.
in this ASL Season 12. The last person who will be advancing into semi-final, that will be Hero. Congratulations. So since you guys have been playing each other so many games, and recently you guys have played more than 40 games, and Light was winning against you. 21 wins, 19 losses, but you showed us your play and your performance was so much better. And from the interview, you also said, will I ever lose on the interview, and that was actually true. You didn't lose this match. And how well did you prepare? How things were going out on game number 1. So Hero was saying he was kind of worried about the game number 1 because he didn't start with the 12 hatchery, so he pretty much lacked with the economy. But things were kind of worked out so well with the Mira backstab, and he was also not aware of the mech play, like completely turtle style of mech play in game number 2 on Ascension. He didn't expect it of mass missile turret.
마린메딕이 많더라고요. 이거 이대로 짤치다가 내 뮤탈만 죽겠다 싶어가지고 그냥 썬큰 받고 이제 뮤탈로 상대 본진 터는 걸 했는데 잘 통했던 것 같아요.
So he was saying about from game number 3, he kind of saw the Marine force was kind of a lot, and if he just constantly fight in the middle of the map with his Mira laying against Valkyrie M&M, he kind of knew he can't really actually win against it. So he decided to make those Sunkens at the net and also the third expansion, and it kind of worked out so well. So he's also pointing out the weaknesses of the Valkyrie opening. there are a lot about gaps, like the weaknesses of the Valkyrie opening. But also at the same time, he gotta play well. He gotta be on point of defending all of those harassment or the pressure. And things are just kind of worked out so well. Are you satisfied with this best of 5 series today? And he said
짜임새가 있어가지고 좀 많이 깜짝 놀랐어요. 근데
he just kind of surprised every single game when he played against Light. He prepared a lot
진짜 힘든
while he was practicing with his partners. But Light's strategy that he has shown in today's game, it just kind of shocked. Like every single strategy was kind of new to him, or he wasn't unexpected. And now you're gonna be moving into semi-final. Who is waiting to play against you? That will be Rush. And I'm pretty sure you also have played each other a lot. And Hero's also saying they were also a practice partner. They were also practice partners since round of 16 and playing each other a lot. And Hero is excited to play against Rush as well. Any last word to your partner? People say he got a lot of practice. He wants to say thanks to Stock, Rush, Royal, JYJ, Barracks. So those are the 5 Terran who helped Hero today's game. He kind of wants to treat them some nice dinner. Any last word to your fan? I'm pretty sure a lot of fans are pretty much cheering and rooting for him. And since thanks for the cheer, and he also showed some nice games from today. And once again, it's gonna be another Zerg vs Terran on semi-final. He's gonna be preparing more and also improving on his skills and show how well he's gonna be prepared for this ASL Season 12 round of semi-final. And thank you for the interview.
We are getting a rundown of how today went. Of course, win on Revolver for Hero, then evening it up with Light, and then 2 in a row for Hero to seal the deal and move into the round of 4. And that, of course, completes our round of 4. We're going to have a rematch from last season between Queen and Mini, and then we've got Rush and Hero in the bottom side of the bracket.
Here's something that I noticed. People who got advanced into round of 8 as a first player in round of 16, they got all eliminated. Look at Soki got eliminated, Royal got eliminated, Soma got eliminated, and now Light got all eliminated.
Yeah, so definitely a big curse there, I guess. You don't want to get out in first place. Definitely go for second place. And these matchups coming up in the round of 4 are going to be fantastic. Of course, rematch between Queen and Mini. We saw Mini obliterate Queen last season with that cybernetics or fast cybernetics style. And then we've got Rush versus Hero, who apparently have been practicing versus each other a lot in the round of 16. So it will be fun to see how the mind games are going to unfold there, because they've obviously have a lot of history and a lot of recent history.
Oh, it's also best of 7, so everyone has to play all the 7 maps from this ASL Season 12 map pool.
Yeah, so you don't get the dodge limit anymore. You gotta play it.
Yeah, you gotta play it.
Yeah.
But
I'm trying to think. Yeah, go ahead.
so something that I heard from those players who made it into semifinal, since they don't have much time to prepare, preparing every single map, like every single strategy, is definitely need a lot of time. So 2 players like Queen and Mini, who are going to be playing on Sunday, they don't have much time left, and I'm pretty sure some maps they're going to be cheesing for sure.
Yeah, I would expect that, especially when you see who the players are. I mean, Rush, he loves to hate racks. We know he does. And we know Mini, even though he can play a standard game, he will proxy gate you, and he will proxy double gate you. And he will do it in Game 7. We saw him do it in Game 7 last season in the finals. He is a killer. So yeah, there's definitely going to be some cheese going on. We are not just going to see standard play all day long.
Yeah, I mean, Light has been showing some great games on everywhere, like from those ASTL and previous ASLs, and how dominant he was with his bio play. But I feel like from this season, ASL Season 12, he doesn't seem so confident with his bio play.
Yeah, these games in particular versus Hero were honestly a bit disappointing. I mean, I don't know. Like specifically that move with the Goliath and Marines. I mean, that's a move that as a pro, you can't make that move. You don't have any units. And you could see from the reaction that he knew that that was a big mistake, like the facial reaction. And he had the same reaction in game 1. So it just felt like he was off today. I don't know if it's specifically his bio being off, but those 2 games were definitely off. And unfortunately, he's eliminated because I think you and I both wanted Light to go a bit further because that would have set us up with the Light versus Mini finals, potentially. And I know you wanted to see that, but yeah, today was just not his day.
Yeah, so it's kind of like not great performance from Light, but also at the same time, Hero was on sharp. He was super aggressive, I would say. Like, normal Zerg players kind of like to saturate their third base with like full drone mining at the mineral line. But Hero wasn't. Hero was just getting the gas only, and with that gas advantage, he was pretty much squeezing all those gas for like making some lurkers, making scourges even more middleless, and just constantly making those zergling for the backstab or eating up all those M&M in the middle. That was just pretty looking great, I would say.
Yeah, it was fantastically done. And as someone that plays Valkyries often, oh, it hurts when you lose your Valkyries because they are so expensive. Because that build that Light used, where you're out in the map at 7 minutes, you've got like 2 or 3 Valkyries. I mean, that was my go-to build for months upon months. So yeah, I can feel the pain there, and it is tough, really tough, to play versus that style that Hero was going for. And as you mentioned, the 3 hatch gives you so much larva. So it feels like they're all in because they built so many Lings and so many Mutas and Scourge. But then you look at the replay and they're not all in at all. It's really punishing. So Hero did a really good job. And I think Rush has got his work cut out for him because Hero played so well today. It's going to be tough for Rush to move on into the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what about on the other side of the bracket? What about Queen versus Mini? You got any initial thoughts there?
Well, I have a feeling Queen is the type of player who does not like to rush Hive. He kind of likes to go for super aggressive with Hydraless Lurker playstyle with +2 attack. And Mini loves to get double Forge upgrade, but I guess we're done for today.
Yep, we're done for today, guys. We'll be back next week. Again, Sunday and Tuesday. It's a round of 4, so you definitely don't want to miss that. We're going to find out who's going to be our finalists of ASL Season 12. Is it going to be a repeat with Mini? Is Queen going to get revenge? Are we finally going to see ASL Champ Rush in the finals, maybe? Make sure you tune in, guys. We'll see you there.